6 a.m. in West Hartford, Connecticut. Soft morning light gently illuminated the quiet kitchen. Jennifer Morrison sighed as she put her oatmeal on the stove. The newly built modern house was almost too spacious, but it was her only victory from the divorce settlement. "Aiden, time to wake up." No response from upstairs. The 38-year-old single mother organized today's schedule in her head before calling her son again. Drop Aiden off at Westbrook Elementary School by 8, then head to the Prudential office. Today she had an important insurance claim review. In her 8-year career, she had never made a serious mistake. That was her only pride. Breakfast has been ready for 10 minutes now. She'd heard that her ex-husband Michael had succeeded as a real estate broker and bought a new condominium downtown. He would probably take Aiden there during weekend visits. The kitchen walls were decorated with several photos of her 6-year-old son Aiden. Him in his baseball uniform, at his kindergarten graduation, and recent school pictures. The wedding photo that once hung there had been removed 2 years ago. Divorce had changed her life dramatically, but for Aiden's sake, she desperately tried to maintain as normal a life as possible. "Morning, Mom." Aiden came running down the stairs, still in his Carter's pajamas, and hugged his mother. His blonde hair was slightly messy from sleep. The warmth from his small body soothed Jennifer's heart. "Good morning, you finally got out of bed," Jennifer smiled while stroking her son's head. "Today's breakfast is oatmeal and toast. And I'll get out your favorite Smucker's peanut butter too." "Yay!" Aiden immediately sat at the table and picked up his spoon. "Mom, can I play with Tommy after school today?" "Don't you have the after-school program?" "But the teacher said they'd give special permission." Jennifer frowned. She wasn't sure if the teacher her son mentioned referred to the after-school program staff. During breakfast, Jennifer observed her son. From her 8 years of experience as a claims examiner, she had an eye for catching subtle changes. Lately, Aiden seemed different. His night crying had increased, and when he returned from weekend visits with his ex-husband Michael, he seemed somewhat listless. "The teacher always gives me candy," Aiden had mentioned the other day. She thought he meant the after-school program teacher, but when she checked, that didn't seem to be the case. Sometimes he said things that didn't make sense. That fueled her maternal anxiety. The doorbell rang, and Carol Wilson from next door came to visit. The 65-year-old was known in the neighborhood for her excellent baked goods. A retired elementary school teacher, she had been close with the family since Aiden was born. "Jennifer, good morning. I brought some muffins I made yesterday." Carol held out a paper bag. "By the way, about last Sunday." She lowered her voice. "I saw Aiden walking with an unfamiliar woman. Could it be Michael's new girlfriend? Near West Farms Mall." The woman looked to be in her 50s. Jennifer frowned. Her ex-husband had only gotten weekend visitation rights 2 months ago. She didn't think he would introduce Aiden to a new woman so soon, but, considering Michael's personality, it wasn't entirely unimaginable. That afternoon, she had a meeting with Ms. Sarah Johnson, the counselor at Westbrook Elementary. In a recent family drawing by Aiden, an unknown woman had appeared. In the picture, the woman was holding Aiden's hand and sitting with him on a park swing. "This isn't unusual for children after divorce," the counselor explained. "It's common for them to draw imaginary figures as they try to adapt to new circumstances. However, continued observation would be prudent." Jennifer straightened her jacket collar as she left the office. Her family lived far away, and she had no relatives to rely on. In this quiet residential area, she and Aiden continued their life together. Though she sometimes felt lonely, she had no regrets about her current life. After finishing grocery shopping at Stop and Shop, on her way home, the lights of West Farms Mall caught her eye. Where would Michael take Aiden this weekend? Jennifer sighed deeply, trying to shake off her anxiety. Were her son's recent changes simply part of the post-divorce adjustment process? After returning home, she took out Aiden's United Healthcare insurance card from her wallet to check his information. Her maternal instinct was telling her something was off. But maybe she was just being overprotective. After Aiden went to bed, she sent a brief message to her ex-husband just in case. Could you let me know your weekend plans? While waiting for a reply, Jennifer looked at photos of her son. She felt like there was something indescribable lurking behind his smile. No one yet knew that this peaceful daily life was about to be greatly shaken. At 5 p.m. on Friday, Jennifer had unusually left work early. As she was leaving the Prudential office, her boss Tom Watson called out to her. Kind eyes shone behind his round glasses. Morrison, how are you lately? We're starting to consider remote work options. Would you be interested? I'd hate to lose an excellent examiner like you. Yes, of course, she answered immediately. More time with Aiden. It was an attractive proposal. In 8 years, she had never made a serious judgment error. This track record was about to be rewarded in an unexpected way. Clutching her BMW keys in the parking lot, she tried to shake off her anxiety about the weekend. Still no reply from Michael. Her son was scheduled to spend time with his father starting tomorrow. After the divorce, she had foregone all luxuries except this luxury car. Still, she would invest generously for her son's sake. The tuition for private Westbrook Elementary took up most of her salary. I'm home. When she opened the front door, Aiden came running from the after-school program. His Oshkosh Bagosh denim jacket was slightly damp with sweat from exercise. Mom, you're home early. It's special today, Jennifer hugged her son. What would you like for dinner? Pizza. Again, she laughed and shook her head. We had pizza yesterday. Let's make hamburgers together today. Want to try the new recipe Aunt Carol gave us? They prepared dinner together in the kitchen. Aiden was unusually talkative. He chose his favorite Spider-Man plate from the cupboard himself and set it on the table. I'm excited to play with Dad tomorrow, Aiden said enthusiastically while washing vegetables. Oh? Where are you going? The new house. It's a secret. But it'll be fun. We're all going. Jennifer paused at those words. Who's all? Did Dad tell you about this? Well. Aiden's response was vague. Suddenly changing the subject, he asked, Mom, can I cut this carrot? At 9 p.m., Aiden went to bed. He resisted a little more than usual, but when Jennifer read him his favorite picture book, he quickly closed his eyes. She kissed his forehead and whispered, Good night. Mom, Aiden called out in a small voice. I'll see you tomorrow too, right? Promise. Of course. Let's have breakfast together before you go to Dad's. Should we make pancakes? Back in the living room, Jennifer spread out her work documents. The TV news was playing in the background. The announcer was reporting on the recent increase in child abduction cases. There had been multiple suspicious person sightings in the West Hartford area. She unconsciously turned down the TV volume. Around midnight, she had dozed off on the sofa. A sudden phone call woke her. It was from Michael. Normally she would ignore late-night calls, but concerned about tomorrow's plans, she answered. "Sorry, but about tomorrow." His voice seemed unsettled. He said he had a sudden business trip. Apparently an important property deal in New York. Linda will. "Who's Linda?" "I'll explain later. Don't worry about Aiden. She's someone trustworthy." The call abruptly ended. Jennifer checked on Aiden's room upstairs, feeling uneasy. She could hear his faint breathing. She felt somewhat relieved and returned to the living room. But that relief wouldn't last long. At 1 a.m., a sudden doorbell. Outside was dead silent. The entrance sensor light illuminated 2 uniformed officers and 1 plainclothes detective. The patrol car's siren was off, but red and blue lights flickered in the front yard. Their presence cut through the night's stillness. "Mrs. Morrison." The plainclothes detective showed his police badge. The badge read, "Detective James Wilson. Your son, Aiden Morrison, has been in a traffic accident." "What?" Jennifer almost laughed. "But my son should be sleeping upstairs. I just checked on him." The confused-looking detective held out a photograph. His hand was trembling. This clearly wasn't a routine incident for him either. West Farms Mall security camera footage. Timestamp from 30 minutes ago. Aiden was walking hand in hand with an unknown woman. His profile looked so different from the sleeping face his mother remembered. "This is..." Then came photos of the accident scene. The shopping mall parking lot. Ambulance lights. A child's backpack on the ground. It was the new Spider-Man backpack she had just bought for Aiden's birthday. Feeling faint, Jennifer ran upstairs. "Aiden." When she opened her son's bedroom door, her scream tore through the quiet night. Dolls were arranged on the bed, made to look like someone sleeping. Folded pajamas by the pillow. The window was locked from the inside but slightly open. The curtains swayed in the night breeze. "My son. Aiden." The detective spoke quietly. "He's currently being transported to Hartford Hospital emergency room. We'll take you there immediately." As the police siren started wailing, lights in neighboring houses began turning on one after another. She could see Carol rushing out in her pink nightgown, shouting something. But Jennifer no longer had the capacity to understand her surroundings. In her mind, her son's breathing that had surely been there moments ago was fading away like an illusion. That sound seemed to be carried away on the night wind, disappearing somewhere far away. Despite the late hour, Hartford Hospital's emergency room was wrapped in unusual tension. White walls and the smell of disinfectant. The sound of medical staff's footsteps in the hallway. And in the waiting room, a middle-aged woman sat covering her face, crying. "Mrs. Morrison," Detective Wilson called out. "That woman is Linda Hartwell, 55 years old. When security guards found her suspicious and tried to question her while she was with your son, in the confusion." Jennifer stared at the woman. In her cardigan, she looked like any ordinary housewife. But the fact that her presence had put her son in danger made anger well up inside her. Why was my son with her? Just then, the operating room door opened. A doctor with a name tag reading Dr. Thompson appeared and smiled at Jennifer. "Don't worry. Aiden is not in any life-threatening danger. Just minor bruises and scrapes. He's sleeping now with a mild sedative." A sigh of relief escaped. But new questions immediately arose. How did Aiden get out of the house? Why was he with Linda? "Ma'am," the detective quietly offered her a chair. "Let's hear Mrs. Hartwell's story." The interrogation room was small. Linda clutched a tissue in her trembling hands. "I had a grandson named Tommy," she began in a hoarse voice. "2 months ago, in a traffic accident." Wiping away tears, Linda continued. She was a former elementary school teacher and had been Michael Morrison's real estate client. Concerned about her after she lost her grandson, Michael had hired her as a weekend babysitter. At first, it was just supposed to be a job. Linda's voice trembled. But Aiden looked so much like Tommy. As she spent more time with Aiden, the boundary between Linda's reality and delusions became blurry. She gradually began to overlay Tommy's image onto Aiden. "Tonight, Michael said he had an emergency business trip, he'd leave him with me." She had sneaked in through Aiden's bedroom window late at night. Aiden woke up to a prearranged signal. He followed her sweet words about becoming a new family while rubbing his sleepy eyes. "This is crazy." Jennifer was speechless. "Why didn't Michael tell me?" Detective Wilson spread out some documents. "Actually, Mr. Morrison was supposed to head to New York this afternoon. However, in reality, security camera footage was presented one after another. Far from being on a business trip, Michael was having dinner with a young woman at an upscale restaurant. He had completely abandoned his custody responsibilities. I was going to take him to see my grandson. Tommy," Linda continued in a distressed state. "But when the security guard came, Aiden got scared and ran. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries. However, this incident would significantly change the lives of everyone involved. This will be treated as a serious case of child abuse," the detective said with a stern expression. "Mrs. Hartwell will need a psychiatric evaluation as well." Just then, a nurse entered the room. "Aiden has woken up. He's asking for his mother." When she entered the hospital room, Aiden was lying in bed. There was a bruise on his bandaged forehead, but his eyes were clear. "Mom." With that one word, tears overflowed from Jennifer's eyes. As she hugged her son, she made a vow. From now on, no matter what happened, she would protect this child. As the sun rose, a new day could be seen beginning through Hartford Hospital's window. Aiden had fallen asleep again. This sleeping face would never be taken away by anyone again. When visiting hours began, Carol appeared with homemade cookies. Encouraging cards from PTA mothers also arrived. The entire community was trying to support this mother and son. "It's okay," Carol gently placed her hand on Jennifer's shoulder. "You're not alone." Those words were as warm as the morning light after a long night had passed. 2 days after Aiden was discharged, an emergency hearing was held at the West Hartford District Court. Michael Morrison appeared with his lawyer, but his expression showed signs of regret. The judge gave him a stern look. "The court finds the defendant in serious breach of custodial duties. As a temporary order, Mr. Morrison's visitation rights are immediately suspended. Furthermore, participation in a 6-month domestic violence prevention program will be mandatory." In the hallway, Michael tried to approach Jennifer. "Please listen to me." That day. "That's enough," she coldly cut him off. "You chose dinner with your new girlfriend over your son." Linda Hartwell was determined to need treatment based on a psychiatric evaluation. Her grief was understandable. However, the fact that she had put her son in danger remained unchanged. "We have to look forward." That night, Jennifer talked with Aiden over pizza at the kitchen table. "Mom, can't I see Dad?" "Not for a while. But both Dad and Mom love you. We just need some time right now." The next day, she had a meeting with Tom Watson at the Prudential office. "I'll approve 3 days of remote work per week," her boss showed understanding. "Given your track record, that much consideration is natural. Aiden's recovery comes first." A new life began. Working remotely on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. The peace of mind of being able to work while watching over Aiden was irreplaceable. Weekly sessions with child psychologist Dr. Sarah Smith also began. In the consultation room decorated with bright pictures, Aiden gradually opened up. "Linda always looked sad," Aiden said while making something with clay. "I think she knew I wasn't Tommy." "Thank you for telling me that," Sarah smiled gently. "You're a strong boy." Mother and son also started a new activity together. Karate classes at the West Hartford Community Center. Though Aiden was hesitant at first, under the kind instructor's guidance, he gradually regained his confidence. "Aiden, that technique is very good," when instructor Mr. Yamada praised him, her son's face lit up. Community support was also reassuring. Carol brought homemade muffins every weekend. "These are blueberry," Aiden's favorite. The PTA mothers formed a support group. They shared after-school pickup duties. "We'll do whatever we can," said class representative Jane Wilson. A big change came after 3 months. Aiden's night crying completely stopped. "Mom," one morning her son said with a serious expression. "Can I play with friends at school today?" "Of course. I'll pick you up." The idea to take new family photos came right after that. They hired a professional photographer for a backyard shoot. Aiden wore his proud karate uniform, and Jennifer wore a new dress. Both showed genuine smiles. "Let's display this photo in the kitchen." The new photo was placed where the wedding picture used to be. It symbolized both an end to the past and a new beginning. "That night was the worst nightmare," Jennifer wrote in her diary. "But through it, I realized what truly matters and what I'm capable of. We're not alone. And we can keep moving forward." One autumn day, while shopping at West Farms Mall, Aiden suddenly gripped his mother's hand tightly. The parking lot where the incident occurred was visible. "It's okay," Jennifer hugged her son. "Mom's here with you." On the drive home, the sunset was painting the cityscape red. Aiden sat in the passenger seat, happily telling stories about interesting things that happened at school. His voice had regained its former cheerfulness. The navigation system in her newly purchased BMW guided them along familiar roads. Every time she drove this route, she remembered that night. But now, the confidence of having overcome it supported Jennifer's heart. "Hey Mom," Aiden suddenly asked. "We're happy, aren't we?" "Yes, we are," she answered. "And I'm sure we'll become even happier." The car slowly moved through the twilight neighborhood. Tomorrow would bring another new day. It would be a continuation of their small but certain happiness, just the two of them.